Hi everybody, so here's the kit that I'm working on right now. It's an L-Gaim kit, heavy metal L-Gaim, and it's this spiral flow. I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting a wide enough angle here because I have a little magnifying glass strapped to the front of the camera so that I can show you the particular little close-up tiny piece that I'm working on. Let's see, gotta point this out to you. Here you see it in side view, and here it is from the top view. This little piece here has a decal that has to go on it. Here's the actual piece, right? And in the body of the model, it fits. Here's the seat and the control panel, and this is the control panel that will be in this space here, right? That'll fit, opposite way like that, right in there. And then this little pop-up goes right in here, and then fits over it, like that. Alright, and then this piece can pop up, right? And right now you see that the little pop-up control panel is blank, right? But what belongs there is this tiny little decal, you see? And from the side angle, you see that the printed part of the decal will fit very precisely inside that area. But you can see this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see from the reflection of the light on the surface that there's a bit of decal film that extends past the edges of the actual decal itself. Now this is an old kit, so these are waterslide decals, not rub-ons. So what I'm going to have to do is very, very carefully with a very sharp hobby knife cut at the exact edges of the decal, the printed portion of the decal, to trim off the sort of flash around the edges of the decal. And then it should fit perfectly. Here you see the ridiculously small decal that I'm working with. Here is a toothpick for size comparison. So I'm going to have to be very careful with this little guy. And I have trimmed it so that it will fit right inside the edges of that. Alright, so here you see the decal in its final resting place. It does indeed fit very crisply in that opening. And the last thing that I want to do is I want to take some of this stuff, zoom out, this decal setting solution, which basically very slightly melts the plastic film that the decal is printed on, and then when all the solvaset evaporates, the melted plastic decal film settles back into place. It gets a little wrinkly at first, which is kind of worrisome, but after letting all the solution evaporate, it really settles. I mean, you can see how perfectly flat that is by the reflection on it. And another example of a decal that was set with this solution is actually in a really strange spot. That was a tough one to fit into place. Let me zoom in on that one. You see how there are sort of various ridges that the decal had to kind of fit over, and it certainly wasn't going to do it without using the solution on it, but with the Solvaset solution brushed over it after the decal was into place, it settles it down really nicely, really flat. And the hardest part about using this stuff is being patient with it, because if you try to blot at it, or you really just apply a tiny little film, and I'll actually see if I can show you truly how little you need. I'll zoom in, and I get just a little bit on the brush, and then just very gently wet the whole decal so you can see that it's all wet, but I want to be careful not to use too much. I don't want to douse it. Maybe I used a tiny bit too much because it's such a tiny decal. In this case it's hard. So I will blot from the very edge to absorb some of this stuff, but then I'm trying very hard not to actually touch the decal itself, because once the decal kind of melts, if you touch it, you're pretty much guaranteed to rip the decal or mess it up in some way, so you have to be really careful with this stuff. Alright, you see now, trying to make sure it's in focus, but you can kind of see that the decal looks frankly kind of screwed up now, and no matter how many times I use this stuff, I still worry about how screwed up the decals look. But you just have to be patient with it and set it aside for an hour or so and let it settle into place, and I guarantee that it will look much better if you can resist the temptation to touch it and try to make it look better. It just has to look better by itself, which it will.